I'm back. Here we are. Welcome to Comfort Food for Thought. This is your good friend Chris James coming at you from the city by the sea, Asbury Park, New Jersey. Spiritual journey continues, and I'm glad to have you on board. We're going to explore the mysteries of life together here, seek out the metaphysical and spiritual answers. So how you doing, my friend? How's your heart? Everything going all right today? Thinking beautiful thoughts? Thoughts are powerful. Thinking, it's our divine superpower. It's an aspect we share with the Creator, the power to think, the ability to reflect upon oneself and make choices. It's one of the divine gifts we receive for our journey through this life. The ability to think gives us the ability not only to choose, but to create and to dream. Now, the Native Americans that once lived here, in this part of the country, here in coastal New Jersey, they were called the Lenni Lenape. Their name for the great spirit that created everything was Kishelamukang, which literally means he who creates with his thoughts. I love that idea. I love the idea of a God whose mind is just, forever filled with beautiful creative visions. And all that beauty and wonder and breathtaking diversity that we see in nature, it's the result of those thoughts. And what's more, you and I are part of that creation. We experience that creation. We're inside it. The beauty all around us is a reminder that there's something more, something bigger than us. Something to think about. I take great comfort in that. This idea that the purpose for all creation is for us to live and experience the beautiful creative visions of spirit. To live inside that creation, to participate in that creation. And we live and we move within it with total freedom. We have free will, power of choice. And this is a gift of love. Because like we talked about last time, there can't truly be love unless there's freedom. Love has to be chosen. If it's not chosen freely, it's not love. We all know that famous quote, if you love someone, set them free. That's what we're talking about here. That's the very nature of free will. Spirit gives us freedom to follow our own paths in search of joy and in search of fulfillment. We have to be free. We have to be free to create our own beautiful visions. And through our adventures in life, come to truly understand love, understand light. And in this way, we have our own effect on the world. We're part of the creation. Our life is like a thread in a great tapestry. By our choices, we weave that thread and leave our mark on the world. And even if our story is never told, the story is part of history. Each of our lives has far-reaching effects. So this is something to think about. What's your effect been so far? Who have you affected? Now, you may not be fully aware of it, but you certainly have. That's for sure. Remember that movie, It's a Wonderful Life? Good one, right? It's always on around Christmas time. In my house, we always watch it right after the New York City Thanksgiving Day parade. It's our kickoff to the holiday season. Great movie. If you remember the story, the main character, George Bailey, played by Jimmy Stewart, he's gotten into some financial difficulty and was wishing he had never been born. He's even considering ending his life. But just then, his guardian angel appears and shows George what the world would have been like had he never been born. So it shows him just how different the world would be. And in the course of the story, reminds him of all the good stuff he's done, shows him all the good influence he's had on people. Shows him just how wonderful his life really is. One of my favorite lines from the movie is when Clarence, the guardian angel, reminds George, each man's life touches so many other lives. When he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole. Well, you'll have to watch it and see how it all turns out, but it's a good one. It's a classic. So don't forget how much good you've done in your life. And what do I always tell you? When you act out of love and kindness, you're increasing it in the world. It gets passed on. Oh, and it's never forgotten. The love you bring into this world has far, far-reaching consequences. And you know, when we finally leave this world, oh, that stuff might be the only things that matter. Who knows? So think well of yourself. Think well of the world. Get in the habit of thinking beautiful, joyful thoughts. It'll make a difference. You'll see. Thought is so powerful, and how you think, it literally determines if your life is heaven or hell. So this is worth working on. You know how they say you are what you eat? Well, it's true, at least for your body, right? But for your life, your experience, how your days unfold, I think it's more accurate to say you are what you think. Your thoughts, they shape your inner reality and your perception of the world. And just like it's important to eat healthy foods, it's even more important to think healthy thoughts. Many people don't realize this. They don't see the connection. They don't see the connection between their thoughts and their life experience. Even worse, many people, they refuse to take responsibility for their own thoughts. They blame outside conditions, including other people, for how they think. And I know, it's easy to do. We all do it. This world can try your patience, right? Sure can. We say to ourselves, well, you know, I'd be happy and peaceful if that person wasn't constantly upsetting me. Or we say, well, I want to be happy, but this situation I'm in, this struggle I'm going through, it's making me unhappy. I can't help it. Well, yeah, I hear you. I know it's difficult. Which is why how we think about things, how we perceive things, is very, very important. Because when we think a particular thought over and over again, something happens. It becomes a belief. Oh, and beliefs are super powerful. They become our truth. They become part of the wallpaper in our life. We don't question them. Our beliefs are things we've decided, concluded are real. So they are real, at least to us. And so obviously, you want to take care and watch what you believe. Watch those dark thoughts. Thoughts of fear, resentment, anger, judgment, vengeance. You don't want to look at the world through that lens. You don't want to think those thoughts over and over again. Because what happens? That's right. You start believing the world is a dark, scary, dangerous, unfair, unhappy place. And once you do, it's hard to undo. And of course, this is going to have consequences. The way we think and believe, our mindset, our vibration, it affects our choices. It affects our interactions with others and our expectations. And then, guess what? Your life becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you start saying stuff like, oh, well, you know, that's just my luck, because you expect the worst. No good. We all know somebody like that, right? They go through life looking at the gloomy side of everything. Remember the book Winnie the Pooh? Remember Eeyore, the donkey? Remember him? Eeyore's very pessimistic, and he always expects the worst. He believes bad luck and difficulty is the nature of life, right? Does this sound familiar? We know people like this, don't we? Oh, and maybe it's us. Maybe we act like that sometimes, where we think we act like Eeyore. And it's sad, but no surprise. When we think like that, when we've got this Eeyore mindset, things continue to be difficult. We lose sight of the connection between how we think and what life seems to bring us over and over again. I'll tell you something, and this is where it gets really tricky. The stronger your beliefs about something are, the more you're going to see it in your world, right? The more you're going to believe you're right about it. You see what happens here? We don't like being wrong, do we? And that makes it doubly difficult. That's a tough place to get out of. Because when we focus on the darkness, the light becomes harder and harder to see. It's still there. It's always there. But it's harder to see. It's like living in a constant rainy day. And those negative beliefs, they become like a dark cloud around our mind. And then what do we see? Yeah, the world looks gray and scary and sad. But there's good news. Up above those clouds, there's light. The sun is still shining up there. So we'll get to it. We'll clear out the cloud. We'll we'll get out of the dark. We'll work on this stuff together. So this is something to really consider. The power of your thoughts, the power of your mindset and your beliefs. One of the great sources of learning is from observing people you admire, or whose lives you admire or aspire to. It's really a worthy pursuit. How do they think? How do they look at the world? What's their mindset? What do they believe? It's a fascinating study. I love reading biographies, good ones at least. You learn a lot about how thoughts and beliefs shape a person's life. Case in point, when I was in my teens and early 20s, I aspired to be a rock and roll star, just like a lot of kids my age. I was here in Asbury Park, the epicenter of music on the Jersey Shore, the city where Bruce Springsteen got his start. I figured I had it made. Some friends and I started a band, and we wrote some songs. We played all the big clubs here on the shore, the Stone Pony, the Fast Lane, the Wonder Bar. It was a great time. And we thought we were working pretty hard at it, but big success was elusive. We never made it. We never made it past being just a local Jersey bar band. So eventually we gave up, went on to other things. That was interesting because later on, I actually sat down and read Bruce Springsteen's biographies and autobiography. And I was absolutely blown away by his work ethic. I could not believe how hard this guy worked. I mean, he worked 1,000,000 times harder than we ever did. He was 1,000,000 times more dedicated to his craft. He had already put in his 10,000 hours at an age when I was still, posing in front of the mirror with my guitar, not even knowing how to play it. I had fun, but my mindset and level of dedication at the time was just not going to lead me to fame and fortune, and it didn't. But, that was an eye-opener in a lot of ways. Here was someone who accomplished something I had wanted to accomplish. And from reading those books, I learned a lot about how Springsteen thought, what motivated him, his willingness to keep going, his belief in himself. I mean, not to mention the guy's incredible talent, But now it all made a little more sense. It was pretty clear why I was not a famous rock and roll star. There were many, many obvious reasons. Main one being I was not even remotely in the same league as Bruce, But like I said, we had fun. A lot of great experience came out of that time of my life, and I put it to good use. And so there were some great stories too. I'm going to get to them one of these days. So it's all good. It's all worth it. Oh, there's an awful lot to learn about life, isn't there? Yeah, sure is. And these ideas about thought and how we think, it's an important piece. If you understand it, the results can be miraculous. It's powerful stuff. I've seen it. And again, like I say about everything we talk about, don't take my word for it. Try it out. See what happens. See what happens when you give up those Eeyore thoughts. See what happens when you believe in yourself, when you cultivate beautiful thoughts, when you spread love in the world. Watch and see what the effect of that's going to be. Well, time's running out here. It's been a lot of deep thoughts about thoughts today. What do you say we quiet all those thoughts and questions down for a minute or so? Let's sit with spirit quietly and affirm the promise of a peaceful and loving mindset. So I'll take a breath and clear our minds. Be peaceful. If I have peaceful and loving thoughts, this will lead to a peaceful and joyful life. I'm in control of my thoughts. This is good news. No matter what, I can always try and see things in a different way. Well, my friend, that's some powerful food for thought right there, and I hope these thoughts bring you some comfort, peace, and insight today. Hope they lead you closer to your dreams. I want you to find your peace and your joy. That's what life's about. As always, I'm grateful for the time we spend together here, and I'm already looking forward to carrying on with the journey next time. So until then, may Spirit inspire and protect you, and may you have abiding peace and joy till we meet again. Take care of yourself, my friend. I'll be back soon.
You've been listening to Comfort Food for Thought with Chris James. For more information and links to our social media, please visit us at our website, www.comfortfoodforthought.com. Thanks for listening.